is I'll post some of them on YouTube, but then I'm also going to post more information on Substack for paid subscribers. My goal on Substack is going to really be to help people learn how to use homeopathic medicines for acute situations, first aid care, chronic conditions, just kind of have a more deeper understanding of this medicine. So go ahead and check out my Substack, which is called Healing with Homeopathy under my name, Vanessa Baldwin. And the link will be in the show notes for you down below. So you can go and check out that Substack and you can learn more about homeopathy. I've just posted a couple things there so far, but I am going to really commit to posting more information there. And eventually I will add pay subscribers to getting more privied, deeper conversations or connections about homeopathy and more in-depth learning about homeopathy. So yeah, today we're going to talk about calendula. And I'm really excited to talk with you about calendula because I think it's a really great first aid care remedy that everybody should have in their home to use. And calendula is kind of like touted as the homeopathic natural antibiotic that's antiseptic, and you want to think of wounds healing, opened wounds. Whenever there's an opened wound, you want to think of calendula. It is a great remedy to prevent the body from getting into an infection, right? So we're talking about like an opened wound. So say you cut your finger, you cut your finger, you cut your arm, your child has, a really bad scrape outside that they got, there's like dirt in it. You want to like use calendula. And actually you can take calendula and you can dilute the pellets because homeopathic remedies usually come in little vials with little pellets, right? You could take those pellets, you can put them in water, and you can just pour, let the remedy dissolve, and just pour that calendula right over that open wound. So like say your kid is outside and they're running and they have this big scrape, that you're worried it's going to get infected, just pour some calendula right on it after the remedy's dissolved, and that will be really helpful. You can just do like a 30C. That will be really helpful in just ensuring that there's no infection that gets there. So it's good for like open wounds, like I said. It's also good for burns. So you burned your hand really bad cooking or something, some sort of burn. And again, you could apply that internally, like by taking a dose of the remedy, or externally on the wound, right? It's good for ulcers, anything that's very raw, red, inflammation. When there's a lot of pain, we want to think of this remedy. It's going to help reduce the pain. It's going to help reduce the swelling. And it's going to help, speed up the healing process, which is, we all want that, right? It's going to help our body heal in a faster way without suppressing the symptoms. It's very good for like post-childbirth as well. Actually happens to be a good remedy for varicose veins or like diaper rash if your child has diaper rash. But it's really just, these wounds also can have pussing. So like when the wound closes, there can be some pussing that's still coming from it. That maybe like there might be an infection in there. You'd want to use calendula, maybe like more like a 200C. We'll talk more about potencies and whatnot throughout this YouTubes and Substacks as well. But pus from a closed wound is a good indication also for calendula, supporting opened wounds. After childbirth healing, it could be really, or post-surgery healing, it could be really helpful. They always want to give an antibiotic after a surgery, right? Well, here you can just go and, you don't have to do that, right? You can just give this instead. So, open wound surgeries. What else I want to tell you? So burns, cuts, punctures, stabs, anything like that. Calendula happens to be hindered by like heavy, cloudy weather and worse in the evening, and helped by walking about, warmth, and lying still. So they like warmth, lying still, and moving around slowly. It's actually part of the daisy family. Actually, Bellis pernice is the daisy. This is the tough daisy, calendula. Another name is marigold. So it's marigold. So it's the tough daisy. So it's actually marigold. That's what it's derived from. And Bellis pernice, which we'll actually talk about as well, is actually derived from the daisy. So these are both plant remedies. Bellis pernice is a very deep acting remedy for the abdomen, actually for deep injuries in the abdomen. Bellies, right? Bellis pernice, in the belly, I always think of. But anyway, this is marigold, actually calendula. And yeah, plants can be super healing, especially in potentized homeopathic form. If you haven't listened to my free homeopathy webinar that's on this YouTube channel and also on my Substack, I highly encourage you to listen to it so you have an idea of what homeopathy is and a little bit about potencies. I'll do a separate video on potencies. I'm gonna write that down to do a separate video on potencies because I think that's important. And yeah, let's see. So this can be given as in a cream as well as a tincture. So there's a couple ways you could take calendula depending on your situation. So you can take it internally, like just take a dry dose or a water dose internally, like through the mouth to prevent infection. You could also take it, like I said, if there's an open wound or a burn, right? You can just pour some water directly on injuries. I've done that many times to prevent infection. If it's already closed, the wound, you're going to want to take it internally. Like when I said that the pus from the closed wound is forming, that means that there may be an infection and you want to take that internally. I would probably in that situation give a 200C one dose. And also could be, you can find it in a form of creams. If you buy a cream form, and I always recommend getting your remedies from Hanuman Labs. I have a couple listed in my free homeopathy webinar of like where I think remedies are great to get from. But if you're going to use a cream, which you don't usually find at labs, you just want to make sure it's a single ingredient because a lot of times they can have other ingredients in it. You want to have it get a single ingredient calendula. And that could be good too. It's like some people make salves out of them, and sometimes they are good with like other combinations, but I prefer the single ingredient ones as well. And anyway, it's going to promote healing, it's going to reduce inflammation, it's going to stop and clear up infections. Of course, you want to make sure the cut is clean first, right? Move like any debris or any kind of dirt. Like I said before, the kid is outside running and he scrapes his knee like really badly, like road rash. You want to clean that first and then put the calendula, of course. Yeah, so that's it, I think. I'm just seeing if there's anything else I want to say. Um, it also could be used for childbirth after childbirth. It could be used as well, like if it is like a episiotomy or that would be like an opened wound, right? And use it as a water dose in that situation as well. And then for like diaper rash, it could be used that way as well. I would recommend not using regular diapers, and I would recommend letting your kid be and not suppressing those rashes, but letting your kid be diaper free, and then you could pour some calendula water on it or take it internally. And then I'm just seeing if there's anything else I want to tell you about calendula. Reservations, um, controls the bleeding. It will help stop the bleeding in this case. So if the bleeding is really profuse, it can help stop the bleeding, which I've actually seen in real action. Any kind of incision also for after dental pain. So say you like, they want to give you an antibiotic after dental pain. You could also take calendula 200C after a dental procedure. It will help the pain. It will help reduce the chances of infection. Yeah, so it's good in avoiding like cortisone creams. So instead of putting on the cortisone cream, you could use calendula cream instead. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much good about calendula. It's a great first aid care remedy that I recommend everybody have in their home. I would get a 30C, a 200C, and a 1M. This video is not really about potencies, but I'll do a video about potencies to explain that. But with this case, with calendula in this like first aid care case, because it's really a first aid remedy, it's not a constitutional remedy, it's a first aid remedy. What you want to do is you want to have the 30C, 200C, and 1M, and the way you would dose it is you would meet the intensity to the intensity of the remedy. So if the pain is very high and the bleeding is profuse and the situation is pretty extreme, you're going to go higher in the potency. Okay, what does a higher potency look like? Let's say a 30C is a small dose, one dose. We're giving one dose. A 200C is a medium dose, and then a 1M is a very high dose. So if the pain and the bleeding and the burn or situation was very extreme, you'd want to go with the 1M, okay? If the pain is like a medium thing, like you can give a 200C. If the pain is just like the diaper rash, you're going to give 30C. And calendula is not going to clear up diaper rash likely. It just will soothe it. That probably is a more deeper fungal infection type thing that needs some deeper work. And we can talk about remedies for diaper rash at another time. But I would have all three of those potencies. I love Hanuman Labs, but I also like Helios and Uranus and Seliminum. So there's a couple other labs that I recommend, but I would not recommend just going to Whole Foods or buying off Amazon because you just don't know what you're going to get. And remedies are very sensitive and delicate to energies. So they can be easily put off. Like they won't work anymore if they're not taken care of appropriately. And stored appropriately. So yeah, I would have all three of those for your emergency home care kit, right? And I will talk more about emergency home care remedies. If this is something that you guys are interested in, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you use calendula, if you've ever heard of it, the marigold, and did you know that it could be used for these things? Let me know what other situations you are interested in learning about. I think this is a really great one to learn about, knowing when you can use, you know, a remedy to support, a first aid care situation. Now, I do have a first aid care course on my website, brightlightwellnesscoach.com. So you can go and grab that if you want to learn more remedies to support first aid care. I go over like 25 to 30 remedies in that course as well. So you can go grab that course on my website. And I have other courses in first aid or just acute care like ear infections, UTIs, kidney stones, bladder infections. I also have one on common childhood ailments, which covers like all the things for childhood. I have one on cell salts. And I have some on, there's one more. I'm working on one for women's health care issues. I have influenza. So you can go and check out all those courses on my website, brightlightwellnesscoach.com. You can follow me here on my YouTube, Bright Light Wellness, and my Substack, Healing with Homeopathy. And I will try to post more. I'm going to start with some first aid care remedies. I'll do some talk about potencies and what homeopathy is and all that kind of stuff. But I'll try to do some first aid care ones, remedies in the beginning to get us started, because I think that that's a good way in to start using homeopathies and first aid care. Then you can be more self-reliant, more empowered to use this medicine in your home. So yeah, I look forward to supporting you. Right now, my Substack is free for all subscribers. And I eventually will do a paid option as well, so you can get more in-depth content in the future. So I look forward to supporting you guys with homeopathy in the future and your families with homeopathy in the future. And if you're struggling with anything chronic, I'm always there. You can reach me at brightlightwellnesscoach.com to book in a chronic situation or a chronic session for a chronic thing that you have dealing with chronic health issues. The thing about homeopathy, it can treat acute and it can treat chronic conditions. It's pretty amazing, or it can support both, right? So yeah, please let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer, and I will chat with you guys on the next video. Have an awesome day.